Oh, hi. Good to see you. It's so positive and nice out, isn't it? Being positive is basically having a mindset and/or behavior characterized by progression, hope, or increase. It's very similar to optimism. I've got bugs in my hair, but it's great because I'm outside and it's warm. If someone is optimistic, they believe that good ultimately prevails over evil. They tend to choose the most hopeful view or expect the more favorable outcome in any given situation or circumstance.
Hi.
Chris Traeger. This is Ben.
Well, hello, gents. Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson.
Okay.
I'm Deputy Director Leslie Nope.
Leslie Nope. It is fantastic to be here.
Would you gentlemen like a tour?
Oh, there is quite literally nothing I would rather have in the world than a tour of the Parks and Recreation Department of the great city of Pawnee, led by Ron Swanson and Leslie Nope.
Chris is the most positive state budget auditing consultant I've ever met. I mean, I made eye contact with him, and it was like staring into the sun.
I think everyone would prefer to be around joyful, kind, and positive people. I think most people will recognize positivity and optimism when they see it. Optimism believes that we can be better, that we can make our world better, because we can. It's a fact. If any of you have ever seen the TV show Parks and Recreation, the character of Chris Traeger is a perfect example of positivity and optimism. He gives us so many great examples of positivity and optimism. Some are kind of extreme for the sake of comedy, but in all seriousness, I think there's a lot we can actually learn from Chris.
Leslie, welcome.
Oh, you have a lot of bottles there.
Oh, yeah, would you like a vitamin? B12? Evening primrose oil? Willow bark?
Okay, I'll take one.
I take care of my body above all else. Diet, exercise, supplements, positive thinking. Scientists believe that the first human being who will live 150 years has already been born. I believe I am that human being.
Where's Chris?
I told him that one headlight by the wallflowers isn't dancing music, and he said, not with that attitude.
Of course.
I have to come up with some solution for this slug problem.
Someone has a slug infestation. Boy, oh boy, we live interesting lives, filled with unexpected challenges. Life is precious, and every day is a miracle. Spin team! This is the best possible job for me. I can literally make anything sound positive.
Your house just burned down and you lost all your money in the stock market.
It's a chance to start over, fire is cleansing, and true wealth is measured by the amount of love in your life. If I had to have anybody tell me that I had cancer, I would want it to be me.
He's positive and engaging when he first meets Ron and Leslie. He intentionally takes care of himself, which includes positive thinking. He can see the positive side in any scenario. Positivity like that, though, requires constant decisions to actually choose it. The next example is from Apollo 13. It's based on the true story of the damaged Apollo 13 mission to the moon in 1970. This scene shows the mission control team brainstorming solutions.
So you're telling me you can only give our guys 45 hours? That brings them to about there. Gentlemen, that's not acceptable.
Gee, you gotta talk about power here. Whoa, guys! Power is everything. Power is everything.
What do you mean?
Without it, they don't talk to us, they don't correct their trajectory, they don't turn the heat shield around. We gotta turn everything off. Now. They're not gonna make it to re-entry.
What do you mean, everything?
With everything on, the LEM draws 60 amps. At that rate, in 16 hours, the batteries are dead, not 45. And so's the crew. We gotta get them down to 12 amps. 12 amps? How many? You can't run a vacuum cleaner on 12 amps, John. We gotta turn off. We have to turn off the radars, cabin heater, instrument displays, the guidance computer, the whole smack.
Whoa, guidance computer. What if they need to do another burn? Gene, they won't even know which way they're pointed.
The more time we talk down here, the more juice they waste up there. I've been looking at the data for the past hour.
That's the deal?
That's the deal.
Okay, John. And then we finish the burn, we'll power down the LEM.
All right.
Now, in the meantime, we're gonna have a frozen command module up there. In a couple days, we're gonna have to power it up using nothing but the re-entry batteries.
We've been tried before.
Hell, we've never even simulated it before, Gene.
Well, we're gonna have to figure it out. I want people in our simulators, working re-entry scenarios. I want you guys to find every engineer who designed every switch, every circuit, every transistor, and every light bulb that's up there. Then I want you to talk to the guy in the assembly line who actually built the thing. Find out how to squeeze every amp out of both of these machines. I want this mark all the way back to Earth with time to spare. We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch. Failure is not an option.
In order to get the 3 astronauts back to Earth safely, they had to solve extremely difficult problems they had never faced before. What an opportunity. They could have decided it was too hard, but they chose to be optimistic and figure it out. Like champs. As far as how this all connects to the workplace, optimistic and positive people are a recipe for better teams and a better culture, because their positivity is contagious. A positive and optimistic person will always get hired over a negative-minded pessimist. On the other side of the coin, negativity breeds more and more negativity, which creates horrible cultures that no one likes to work in. Decide to think positively and not negatively, and that will help you find a good job. In all seriousness though, one way that I try to stay positive is by remembering that no matter how bad or difficult a situation is or circumstance is, it could always be worse. Yes, we are in an unprecedented time in history. We've been navigating through maybe the worst worldwide health crisis in the last 100 years. There's social injustice protests happening all over the country and even some over the rest of the world. There's countless other humanitarian crises happening throughout the world. But even with all of this, I think it's so important to remember that it seriously could still always be worse. We could be fighting this pandemic in the dead of winter, for example, but instead it's spring and soon to be summer, and it's warm out. What a nice, positive, optimistic river. So positive. And yes, some of the protests have been violent, but so many have been peaceful. And we could be getting invaded by aliens or have a giant asteroid headed straight for us, but we don't. So that's pretty cool. And seriously, as I think about it, being thankful for things probably is the best way to train yourself to be positive and optimistic. Even amidst this pandemic, and even though the US is not perfect, we have so many luxuries and things to be thankful for by living in this country. Yes, life could always be better, but optimistic and positive people remind themselves to look on the bright side. That is it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this, got some out of this video. As always, please reach out to me if you have any questions or comments. I'm here to help and listen. Next week on What Makes a Great Employee, the importance of being detail-oriented and how that can make you a great employee. See you later. You little positive river. It's so warm and sunny out here. It's such a positive experience. And I'm being serious.